Well, I hate to spoil your video, but I'm in it. I'm not too good with video and pictures and things. I tend to spoil them.
You tend to spoil them.
I remember the girl in Texas telling me I was ugly.
Oh.
I always remember these things. But she didn't exactly say it
that to be
She didn't exactly say it that way. She said she had seen guys uglier than me, but she couldn't recall where.
She was trying to keep up with your humor.
Do you need this, or did you just?
Yeah, just stick it right in front of Don's face.
Yeah, and leave it there.
Okay.
Yes, I'm much better looking now.
Okay, now turn it over.
I'm going to continue to wear masks after the.
Put this over his
Stick
face.
it, yeah, right over his face.
Yes, leave it there.
Yeah.
My brother and I ran a TV repair business in Powell for a short period of time.
Did you?
I went up there. At this time, Dick Seeley and I owned a beer carry out in Powell. And I would go up on Fridays and Saturdays and work either the carry out or in the TV repair. Well, I went into TV repair one day and there were all these guys working in there. I said, I never saw these guys before. Who are they? My brother sold the business and didn't tell me. I asked him, and I had furnished test equipment, and that was gone. So I said, did you cancel my vendor's license? He says, oh yeah, it's all taken care of. Well, the next year I got contacted by the state that said I owed all this money because I did not pay taxes on this business. So I had to take a half a day off from school and go down and straighten everything out. My brother at that time was chief service engineer for Sylvania, and he was up in upstate New York, Rochester, I think, or Buffalo, one of those, Rochester, I think. When he would come down, he'd bring me stuff from Sylvania, trying to make up for all the stuff that he had given away. So I had all kind of stuff from Sylvania.
Did you hold that against your brother?
Nah, I don't hold things against people.
That's good.
I probably did when I was young, but it doesn't make any difference. What the heck?
What question should we have asked that we didn't?
Oh my goodness. Well, the questions that I would have you ask have nothing to do with Powell. It would be with my military service because I accomplished things there. I ended up as assistant line chief. We trained navigators, which was the reason I wear hearing aids because I got disability for that. But we worked out on the flight line all the time. We had 32 B-25s. We trained navigators. Part of my job was making sure all the radar worked all the time and was ready to go. And sometimes I would fly with students to make sure they knew what they were doing when turning it on and off and all that kind of stuff. Or if I flew in front and the radar went bad in the back, I would crawl over the bomb bay doors to get back to try to fix it so we could complete the training mission. So it was all that kind of stuff that I did. And the fact that I played on the Air Force softball team my my last year in the Air Force, they had cartoons in the paper about me. We were going to play some team in Houston one time, and I had the sports reporter of the paper in the bus, and I said, I've been on this base 3 years and I've never seen my name in the paper. Well, he wouldn't leave it out then. He put all kind of crazy stuff in there. And anyway, I should show you that cartoon. Me being traded to the WAF softball team for a crack bat. But I really didn't. I came very close to staying in the Air Force. They offered me another increase in rank, And I looked on the internet the other night about what guys get paid in the Air Force for, and I thought, holy crap, they make more money than I made teaching. It's unbelievable what they get paid. In 1953, I think I've got my tax papers upstairs. I was a staff sergeant on flight status, and I made $1,900 a year. Now, that same job, about 50,000.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't believe that. I just barely made that when I retired from teaching.
Sure.
It took me, when I started teaching, Old Tansy offered me $3,300 a year to start. Well, I didn't take that. Then I was offered at Whitehall. They gave me, because I had so many more hours over that required to graduate, I had X number of hours beyond that. So they gave me an extra $100. And they gave me $100 for each year in the military. That's $500. So I got to start at $4,100 a year, not a month, a year.
Yeah.
And of course, Mary made more money than I did. And by the time I had been there 10 years and had a master's degree, I was making less than $10,000 a year. I see what they get now, but holy crap. But I think teaching was better then. I wouldn't want to teach now. I don't care what they paid me. Couldn't do it. And our base was different than other bases. We put all our radar guys in one shop instead of, we had 3605th, 3606, and 07th maintenance squadron. And in most bases, they had their radar men in each out different places because they were in different squadrons. Well, we had a master sergeant that said that's a dumb way to do things. So he got them to put all the radar people, even though they were from different squadrons, they worked in one place, which made more sense than anything. So eventually, in the beginning of '53, they moved all these guys in a new squadron of their own squadron, not just a complete maintenance squadron. So we had the 3605th Armament and Electronics Squadron. That's where I got to be athletic NCO and coaching basketball and buying uniforms, and besides doing all the shop stuff playing on the ball team and playing and doing all the stuff out on the flight line. That was a good year. I got promoted. It took me an unbelievable long time to make corporal. I didn't think I was ever going to make corporal. I made corporal in May or June of '51 and sergeant in December of the same year. And 10 months later, I made staff sergeant. That's unheard of. I got promoted really fast. So I guess they did appreciate me. So, but then when I went to Otterbein, I could have taken ROTC for 2 years and gone back in as an officer. And I've thought about that a lot. But then I wouldn't have got to do all these other things.
That's right.
So maybe it's better that I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Sounds like it worked out just perfectly.
Yeah. Stuff that happens for good reason, I guess. And when I got ready to leave, I bought a 1938 Chevy off of two guys from Milwaukee, two friends of mine. And the car had a clicking noise in it. And I kept taking it. This was in like October, November. And I kept taking it to get it checked to find out what was wrong. Nobody could find out what was wrong with it. So they said, it's okay. So I said, well, I'll drive from Houston to Powell. Well, I still went to Powell then. And the guy in our line shack used to draw a cartoon. He'd pull out part of the paper that adds part of the paper and draw a cartoon. Well, he drew his cartoon of me, which I have upstairs, of me driving from Houston and crossing the Indiana-Illinois line and my car breaking down. That is where my car broke down, right there on that line. And I've still got that thing upstairs, that cartoon. I don't know how he could know that. Anyway, it was on Sunday evening. I pulled in, what was the name of that city? It's in Indiana anyway, and there was a confectionery open, and I went in there and asked if they knew where I could get my car fixed. Well, everything was closed on Sunday, and there was a guy there getting bologna and a loaf of bread, and he said, well, I fix cars. He says, follow me. So I followed him down the alley and pulled into his garage. And he said, I'll take you down here to the hotel and I'll pick you up in the morning. I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. So he came and got me in the morning, took me down there. He said, well, he said you had a, part of your timing chain was bad and it had broken a couple teeth off of this gear and it was skipping. That's what was making all the noise. And he said, while I had it apart, he said, I went ahead and did a valve job and a ring job. And I thought, oh my God, I'll go bankrupt. Anyway, I said, what's this going to cost? He said, $45. I could not believe it. That cheap. He did all that, rebuilt everything. And I got in the car. He says, now don't turn it off for the first 100 miles. He said, I got everything so tight in there that battery won't be strong enough to turn the engine over. So, I mean, you couldn't hear it run. It's like a new car, $45. Some guy that I ran into.
Right. Yep.
I have no idea why I have back and hip trouble. I don't know what the good is at, but I will find out next month whether they can fix anything or not. I can't fix my back, I know that. But I think they can fix my hips. In February, I had my aortic valve replaced, and while they were doing that, they found my heart rate had dropped immensely. So they stuck a pacemaker in, and 2 months later, they found out that it wasn't working right. So they did it again. That's a lot of fun, doing stuff over again.
Yes.
And I've had so many surgeries. I never had even had a doctor till I was about 60-some. And then now I got a list of them.
Making up for lost time, huh?
I have, since then I've had prostate cancer, lung cancer. What else? Gallbladder removal. I had lung cancer twice. What else have I had? Bypass surgery. Actually, my brain still works.
Yes, it sure does.
It's the rest of me that's disintegrating.
Aren't you glad they have all these spare parts these days, though?
Yes. I don't know whether they got any to fit me or not, though. That's the problem.
I bet they do.
Oh, that would be nice.
Well, I hope I haven't
Plus
bored you
years.
people.
Oh, this has been great.
No, this has
Yeah.
been great.
Fantastic.
I like to make people laugh. I have probably the worst primary doctor in the world, but I can make him laugh. And that's why I chose him. He comes in the door now, he starts laughing right away because he knows I know it.
Oh, good.
And the women in the widowers club, I tell them jokes. Some of them are a little shady. But I figured these women are 70, 80 years old. They've lived through all this stuff. They should be able to handle this. Well, one of them, she just covers her face. And one of them laughs. She can't stop laughing.
Are these old friends that are now widows?
No,
and
this is a
widowers, or-
club connected with the senior center.
Oh,
These are all widows or widowers, and there are only 3 guys still in the group. And one of the widows who called me last January or February when she found out I had aortic valve surgery, called to see how I was doing. And then I told her I had to have this pacemaker thing done over again. She says, well, I'll call you back when, see how you're doing. She never called because she was dead.
oh my.
Dear.
She fell in the kitchen. She's the same age as me, a month older than me. She fell in the kitchen and she was down cleaning up blood and everything and decided to go rest in bed and she bled to death.
Oh dear.
And she was good. I liked talking to her. She was fun.
That's too bad, yeah.
But some of them don't like me at all.
Oh, I can't imagine that.